Welcome back, y'all, to Arrington's Most Interesting People. On this episode, I had the opportunity to sit down with music artist Kurly. And within this conversation, man, we just talked about what got him involved in music and where does he want to take it within the future. Now, currently, Kurly has a new single called What's Up. It's out now on Apple Music. And he's also a contestant in the new upcoming singing-songwriting competition show entitled The Full Package, which I had the opportunity of serving as backstage host. So I hope you enjoyed this conversation with myself and the music artist Kurly. Yo, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy Arrington Gavin here for another great segment I call Arrington's Most Interesting People, where I get to sit down and have amazing conversations with individuals not only doing great things in their field but also in the community. Today's guest I'm having his name is Kurly. He's a national recording artist, good friend, man. The man has performed all over, has some great songs like Get Back, Round for Round, Love It, just to name a few, and he's continued to build up and have a little bit of a change with the genre. So I'm excited to bring none other than the one and the only Kurly. Kurly, what's going on, boss, man?
Hey, my brother, not much, man.
What's going on, Chief?
Appreciate you for having me.
Man, thanks for coming, man.
Perfect Dap does exist, yes, sir.
Look, was that intro though? Was that intro?
Yeah,
okay,
that was
I
good.
appreciate
that
it.
Was good,
I always gotta practice my intros, man.
I felt hyped just coming in, yeah, for sure.
Man, well, I truly appreciate it, man, because you're a busy guy, so I always appreciate, people coming in
Thank
and
you.
have a conversation with your brother. So,
Thank you.
Let's first, letting the people know, who you are. What Kurly, for one, where did the name come from Kurly?
Yeah, so it's funny because I get asked that a lot. When I was first starting out as like an artist, actually trying to put out music, I couldn't figure out a name. I tried to go by my first name, which is Nahom, but in like the streaming platforms, it was already taken.
Wow.
It was already taken. There was like a couple artists named Nahom, and I'm just like, if you upload music, I don't know if people know this, but if you upload music and you put it under like a name that's already taken, there's the chance of your music being uploaded under the wrong artist.
Wow.
And then it's like a whole battle where you have to fight for that name. So, I was like, you know what? I guess that's not gonna work. And then my coworker at the time actually was like, you know what, man? If I go by as an artist, I'm gonna go by Kurly. And I don't know why it stuck. I was like, bro, like, you mind if I borrow that?
Like, Kurly. Because all those years you thought, homie, I thought I was the only one.
Yeah, right.
It's more than my God.
Facts. Like, it's actually a very common name for Eritreans. I'm an Eritrean. It's my background, East African. So that name is very common. But yeah, I didn't expect there to be other artists.
Wow.
And then the NA is Nahom. NA is the two first letters of my name. Yeah.
Okay, dope. So man, where did the love of music start for you?
That's a great question. The love for music, I feel like, okay, so I think it was in high school, right? I feel like that's a time when people generally try to find themselves, figure out who they are, because, they might not be that good at school. So
hey,
you're trying to figure out, you know what I'm saying? I was one of the...
I didn't want to get back them tests. I'm like, ooh.
Oh, I don't want to get back nothing. Leave it, like, nothing. Like, just stay in my locker, man. My locker. I mean, remember now, bro. My locker was crazy, bro. Like, that joint was so messy. So crazy time. But yeah, like, I just go home, man. And that was around the time when I was in high school. YouTube was like popping at that time. It was like late 2000s. You know what I'm saying? So, I wasn't watching TV. I was on the internet. Of course, the internet during that time, 2000s, everything boomed and everything like that. So, I was watching. There was a lot of material like music. I was just watching everything, and I started watching music, and then I started, I don't know if it was around the time that Michael Jackson had passed, 2009, but I remember just going back and just looking through Motown and watching where he came from. I'm like, yo, y'all didn't tell me that the dude, the king of pop was Jackson 5. Like, I didn't know about all of that. Like, my parents were immigrants and they know Michael Jackson, who doesn't in the world, but it's like the whole culture of like just African-American music. It's so diverse and there's so much rich history that I discovered on my own. So YouTube was the way that I navigated through that.
It's funny you say that because we're both young guys in the same like yourself. Like for me, my dad, mad Motown fan. Like he's a huge Motown fan. And really we kept the household really diverse with music because he loved the Eagles. He loved Genesis, but he also loved the Temptations. He loved Earth, Wind and Fire. My mother was Barry White. So I really grew up around all music. I'm a person, I love all genres. Would you say that in your realm, like what genre are you, really, would you call your genre of music? Because, I mean, we spoke a little early before the show.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's an interesting question because I know a lot of artists are, when they get asked that, they don't like to put themselves in a box. But I do feel like I'm primarily R&B.
Okay.
And I can, when I release projects in hip hop, it's rap. But I think where I am right now, I think I was like kind of when I was first figuring out, I was torn between the two. But I do think that I'm a singer first. I'm an R&B singer. That
you got vocals like that, man. You got vocals like that.
Man, I knew he was gonna test me. That's why I was doing them sessions in the car, man. That's why I was like, I know he's gonna ask me. I can hum a few notes. I got a little something. I've been practicing.
I wish I could sing because I love R&B, but I wish I could sing. Only my number one fan is myself in the shower, basically.
Oh yeah.
No one wants to hear me sing. Not at all. But like so being that R&B was that realm, man. Like who was some of your influences? Like who are some of your top tier like people that you look up to in the music area?
Oh yeah, I love this question. So my biggest inspiration for music has always been Michael Jackson because his music just hits for me. Like I know it doesn't hit for certain people. I've heard those few people that don't, but like for me, like especially because I love to dance too. I dance here and there. So obviously the music that he makes it's melody driven. And it's made for people that can catch a beat and can kind of move. Everything. If you dance, you can feel his music, and that's what he made his music too. And when he performed, when I saw it on YouTube, that's how I watched him. That's how he created his music, was a feeling. And so Michael was definitely the biggest inspiration. Is the biggest inspiration for music for me, definitely. Wow. Yeah, for sure.
So would you say that? When you perform, do you put the mindset of like, oh, Michael do what MJ do, or do you just say, look, this is my own sound? Like, what sound do you would you bring? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I know a lot of artists say, I don't want to be like the twin or the same. I'm my own person.
Exactly.
Like, how would you describe? Say you hitting the stage. What sound are you bring to that stage?
I feel like I used to do that, and I feel like a lot of artists that first start out will imitate other artists because they're still trying to figure out their own sound and their own presence. Like I'm grown now, so it's like even if I meet those artists that are very that are up there and that I look up to, I don't think it would hit the same as when I first started out.
Okay.
Because if I, back in the day, if I got on stage, I might want to throw the hat and do, the moonwalk, all of that. Like, yeah, like.
Where did the glove come from?
Man, I was low key obsessed over that, bro. Like, I was like, he's so tough, man, so tough. But now it's like I've grown into myself as a man, as a person. So I kind of have a stronger sense of identity, which is natural. A lot of people don't, but it's a different journey for them. But typically, as you get older, right, you have a stronger sense of identity. I feel like I'm my own person. I would incorporate it, but into my own self.
Okay. Yeah. Would you recommend like for other artists or just upcoming artists too that want to pursue to look back at the old times? Because I guess we always have that debate on which era was the best one, or like if older generations would say like, you young fool think y'all know me, y'all don't know music, this and then the other, and vice versa. So like, would you recommend for artists to look back, kind of in the older, go on YouTube or?
I think that it would overall, it would benefit an artist. I think overall it just benefits artists to hear other music. That's an interesting question because I'm gonna always tell you, like as a singer, like I feel like it's important to look at those, even in other genres, just look at people that came before you, their musicality. How can that add to you? That might be something that you enjoy or that you might be able to implement in your own music.
Absolutely.
I feel like the conversation gets a little bit diluted when it comes to hip hop because hip hop is forever a child. It's forever a baby. Like it's always it just changes so much. And the current state of it now, a lot of people can't figure it out, or a lot of people that were, older.
And we're talking about hip hop. People look at hip hop as a child, and like a lot of people can't really understand the message that they're sending. What would you say? Like, what's the current state of music? Whether it's hip hop, R&B. Like, what message is it? Well, I won't say message, but like, what's the current state right now?
It's a great question. To be completely honest, I would just say that the message right now is if you're not putting out what's relevant, we don't care.
Now explain. So when you're saying like not really, are you saying like for example, I don't know, okay, the division between law enforcement and the community, or the you know what I mean,
The
race.
audience.
There's stuff that's going on. Like, you know, a lot of people always, you know, is that what you're?
Yeah, absolutely. That expands to world events.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. If you're not putting out content like music that's relevant to the world and relevant to what is happening right now, the audience is not going to consume your product, consume your music. Or they're going to consume it and it's not going to last.
Cause see,
that's
like,
the nature of
it. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No,
like I'll be in you know, in the midst of a group of people having conversations, and like some people would say that, okay, hip hop by itself, what message are they sending? It's pretty like a common message. A lot of the female rappers now, they have this and I'm not saying all of them, but I'm just saying the, you know, the ones that at least is always seen publicly on, you know, on the screen, they have like that stripper mentality. That's the key message. Or you know, we're always gonna show popping bottles at the club. You know what I mean? Like, is that always gonna be the common message? Or like, is that considered relevant? You know what I mean?
So my response, the response that I gave is basically that it kind of falls under that. Like, if you're like, to keep it completely 100 with you and the audience, that is what's relevant right now. That I got it, and I'm gonna show you that I got it. Whether it be with the fellas that have the chains out, the gold, everything, like, and then with the females, unfortunately, and there's a whole conversation with that, right? It's like, if you're, you know, and to really get into it, if you're a person of color and you're a female, you're kind of more expected to look a certain way, or be more provocative, or more, you know what I'm saying? And that's kind of the reality of the music industry. And I've talked to my homegirls about this a couple of times, because some of my homegirls, you know, females of color, they'll argue that, hey, you know what I mean? Like, that's just what they got. And if they got it, like, that's how they get famous and what they want to do and everything like that. And I'm not knocking anybody's hustle or any struggle, especially as a woman. I know there's always struggles. And then as a woman of color, there's, you know, definite depths to the struggle.
In the music industry, I mean, that's,
absolutely. And we know that business is a male-dominated field in the world, you know. But that goes to show that, yeah, absolutely. Like, women in hip hop, absolutely. That's, you show your body, you get showed views. Like, you get showed dollars. Like, it's straight up.
Now we're talking about views. So now I remember when if a song was played on radio, boom, you hit it. You made that success point. Now we're living in a digital world. Streaming is everything. Right. Is it harder now as a indie artist to, you know, as far as promote yourself, or, you know, get your music across and really build up that audience? Like, what's the struggle, what's the pros and cons in a sense?
I would say that it's crazy because there's so many levels. That, like you said, we were at streaming. I don't even think I think we're in a new level past streaming. Ooh. It's and now beyond with AI. Like, we're going into somewhere unknown. And to keep it honest with you, like, it's more about marketing. And it's about your brand. So it used to be like, I think like probably at the end of the 2010s, that's when streaming started to like really kick in. I feel like around that time frame, someone might misquote me on that, I might be wrong. But that generation is when people started to look at more like streaming, less CDs, less physical copies. And that started to happen. But now it's like, if you promote yourself on other platforms of social media, then that comes back to your streaming. Okay. Are you a funny person? Your streams are gonna go up. Are you a poppin' person? Your streams are gonna go up. It's not the streams they're looking for. It's the marketing, the brand. Who are you?
So it's almost like the first thing that can come to mind is like, you know, Instagram or TikTok. Matter of fact, we were speaking on TikTok before. Would that be a prime avenue for, hey, if you want to promote your brand, if you want to show the people who you are, not just, you know, you want your music to do the talking, but it's like, I have to show the brand. Would you consider TikTok as that, you know, hey, that avenue to be like, okay, if I have these many views, I'm set. I don't really need to rely on, you know, radio stations, or or I can stay independent. I don't need to rely on from like music labels. I'm like, look, you see how many, I got y'all need to sign, y'all be honored to sign me in a sense. You know what I mean?
I'm not trying to put myself out of important rooms and conversations and someday, but I do like to answer this question with genuinity, because there are underground artists that really do believe that I have to be signed to make it. The harsh reality of the music industry today is that you don't have to be with a record label to be a successful artist, whether that be financially, musically, just in all shape or forms. If I go outside right now, pull out my phone, which if I have an up-to-date iPhone, no equipment, natural sunlight, and post something that's culturally trending right now, I have the opportunity to sell 1 million streams like that.
And that blows my mind. That blows my mind.
I don't need equipment. I don't need anybody. Do you understand? 10, 15-second clip.
10, 15-second clip. Well, it's funny because I was talking with my bros on a show I do called In Your City, Sundays. 12 p.m.
Catch that.
Every Sunday's WNSP Hot 91. We were talking just on, social media streamers social media influencers, and there's a gentleman, I always forget his name, but he's the guy that doesn't say a word, but he's the highest paid.
Young brother, definitely.
Man, let me tell you something. Kurly, I'm a hustler. I always want to keep it moving, and no sleep, but it's like my man's. And it sells, but
it's a niche.
Oh my gosh,
it's a niche.
Mind, man.
Find your niche. It's a niche.
Kurly, what's some projects you have coming up, man? What do you have going on right now?
Yep. So I'm glad you asked. I actually I have you call it a tape drop-in. It's a dual set. It's two songs. That's why I call it dual. And it's basically like a 2-song like summer project. And that's probably gonna drop sometime around August. I have 2 female features. They're absolutely incredible. One of them is a up-and-coming R&B singer, and the other one is a singer as well. She's an Afrobeat singer. Yeah, she's incredible.
I hear so much that Afrobeats is really just picking up. It's really picking up.
Oh yeah, man. I mean, you go to DC right now and you go to the clubs, it's like you're gonna hear 9 times out of 10 most of the music's gonna be Afrobeat. People love, and Afrobeat for me personally, bro, it make me happy. Like, it makes me happy to just hear that.
Is it so
and that might be the African in me too, bro. Honestly, it might just be the African in me, but it's joyous music. It just makes you feel happy and alive, and that's what it does for me, and I think that's what it does for a lot of people who hear it. It's relaxing.
Okay. So you have those 2 projects going on, man. What will be like the highlight of your career? What's some of your goals that you want to pursue in your music career?
Definitely want to do a tour. Like, definitely want to just travel. Like, first obviously do like a US tour for sure. But then ultimately, that's why I looked up to Mike and all them great guys, because their international tours are goated. I mean, we've all seen. Oh, excuse me, strike that.
we got it.
Nah, strike that, John. I got excited about a tour, right? You've seen the footage on YouTube where the fans are just jumping over the gates or passing out and all that. I'm not expecting that, but I'm just saying that touring internationally, I want the opportunity to travel, to see the world. I think everybody, no matter what, I hope they should have the opportunity to see the world, man.
Absolutely.
Got to. So that's basically it. It's definitely traveling internationally and nationally, and just learning and growing as a human. And also, I want to be able to give back. Like, that's the biggest part about me is
that's awesome. That's important.
I feel like every human being has a gift from God, or has something that they're passionate about, they enjoy doing. And I feel like you're supposed to use that to feel completely fulfilled, but at the same time, you're supposed to use that and give back. So my hope, even from when I was young, was being successful in music and using the funds and the earnings that I get from that to be able to contribute to proceeds to the world.
That's extremely important, because we've spoken it before recording. One thing we know that, hey, we're blessed how we're living. We got clothes on our back, a car, all that great stuff. Absolutely. But we also got to be a blessing to others. Man, last question I want to ask you: what message is Kurly's music gonna be sending out? What's the message you that you want people to know that it's gonna be?
I want the message of my music to resonate with feeling, because I mentioned feeling a couple of times. My inspirations create music that make you feel, and so one of them is like an upbeat R&B dance record. The other one is more reflective, a little bit moody. So it's like, I want you, whenever you hear my music, like I want for the most part to promote positivity, and that's what my music does. It's more uplifting, but it's also going to have elements of disappointment or grief or pain, because that's me. And it's always going to represent truth and feeling.
Truth and feeling, y'all. Look, Kurly, how can we continue to support, man, follow up with you, man? What's the show, your socials? How can people, stay up to date?
Yeah, absolutely. So catch me on the gram at Kurly_NA_. I'm on TikTok, Kurly VA, respectfully. So yeah, those are mainly my platforms. It's just Instagram and TikTok. So catch me on there for sure.
Man, look, it's been an awesome conversation, man. It's been an awesome conversation.
Thank you.
I know you have success in your future, man, and please don't forget us. And I really appreciate you making the time out your schedule to come talk with me, man. Absolutely.
My God, thank you for having me.
Hey, man, ladies and gents, that's another great conversation here on Arrington's Most Interesting People. Be sure to tune in next time, where I get to sit with an individual that's not only doing great things in their line of work, but in the community.